All right, everyone. Today, 8th of September, I welcome you to You Can Achieve or YCA. Today, we are going to have a very energetic session and also very enthralling, if I say. Today, we'll discuss media and entertainment companies. Not in India, mostly we will talk about the worldwide companies, mostly US based companies. We'll talk about the great media conglomerates. We will talk about the great media companies which we are enjoying for a long time. For example, Walt Disney, we will talk about. We will talk about Warner Brothers. We will talk about Universal Pictures. We will talk about Paramount. We will talk about 20th Century Studios, which is a part of Walt Disney now, and what happened during the process. Merger and acquisition, we already talked about different types of it. We talked about joint venture and all these things we have already discussed. Now, today I will discuss many media and entertainment companies or organizations who are making an impact in the entertainment industry. If you talk about Hollywood, if you talk about world cinema, they are having an impact in terms of quality, the product they are offering to the marketplace, the quality with which they are providing, the value they are adding, and the revenue as well. We'll talk about different production houses who have created the greatest blockbusters of all time, which production house they belong to. So you might have heard the name of the movie, but today you will get to know, if you already don't know, you will get to know the name of the production house who actually brought this movie into the marketplace. So that's a very important thing to do especially when you are a professional in this business. You should know the business, the industry, the different levels of strategies which we already discussed. You should know about that. But today, what I will start with is McKinsey 7S framework. সাতখানা এস থাকে যেগুলো একসাথে হারমোনিতে কাজ করলে, if they work in harmony, 7S, S stands for something. I will just draw the diagram and I will talk about it. When all these things work together in harmony, then you are doing your business really well. So that will be your 7S framework for doing your business, for managing purposes. We will talk about another matrix, which is the GE-McKinsey Matrix, which is a 9-grid matrix. I will talk about how it matters, like 2 dimensions: industry attractiveness, strength of the business. We will talk about how you map 9 actions you can take, according to the position in the grid. You can do that. আমি এক্সপ্লেন করব ডিটেলে। এগুলো বললে কি হয়, যখন আমি বলবো একটা জয়েন্ট ভেঞ্চার হলো, তারা হয়তো কোনটা করেছে, তারা ডাইভেস্ট করছে নাকি হারভেস্ট করছে নাকি ইনভেস্ট করছে, এরকম ভাবে যখন আমি টার্মস গুলো বলবো, ইউ উইল হ্যাভ অ্যাট লিস্ট সাম বেসিক আইডিয়া দ্যাট ওয়্যার ইট ইজ গোয়িং। ঠিক আছে, এই ডাইমেনশনে এই জায়গাটা এটা আছে, তার মানে এইটা যখন করেছিল তখন এইটা হয়তো সে ভাবছিল, নিজের অ্যাসেটসটা সে দেখেছে, সেটা অ্যানালিসিস has done strengths, opportunities, and strength. Based on that, it has also looked at the pest industry attractiveness and the pest analysis also. Now, how it is contributing to the bigger picture, we will talk about all these things. Then we will talk about the franchising part. We will talk a bit of franchising, different types of franchising, maybe a bit of merchandising also. Transmedia storytelling, something we will talk about, especially if you consider a movie like Star Wars. They are doing transmedia storytelling where you have the lightsabers and all these things. Through that also you are telling the story, introducing the characters and the props to the marketplace, to the audience, as well as you have the movie, and different aspects of it. And what I will talk about is, I will discuss, or rather I will show you few analysis, like few analysis reports, which I have gathered. I have created some of them in one place. So in one place you will see 10 worldwide like highest grossing companies, top 10, and their revenue they generated worldwide, that will be there, and you will also have the number of movies they have produced, and you will see that the number of movies and the number and the amount of revenue they have gathered by offering those movies in the marketplace. So we will tally that also in a graph, in a bar graph, that we will do, and we will share or show a report of PricewaterhouseCoopers. So PricewaterhouseCoopers or PwC is a very good organization, like Deloitte also. They do very thorough analysis of the industries. Since we are talking about the media and entertainment industries, we will talk about a report which the PricewaterhouseCoopers has produced, or they do it each and every year, right? So this will be the analysis of 2022, which is the current year, and there will be a bit of projection of the years coming, like 2023, and how we will have a CAGR, that is the growth rate, you know, through 2026. So we have around like a 4 to 5 year projection they also give. It might not be just bang on, but they, depending on the train analysis, depending on regression, depending on other analytical techniques, statistics, and different other techniques like insights, qualitative and quantitative, they come into this suggestion or advice that this might be the trend in the coming years. Like through 2026, we can see like this percentage of growth. Okay, so that we will talk about what is the current growth rate and what is the expected growth rate, and how it bounced back after the pandemic. That also we will mention, and what are the areas we need to focus on now because they are picking it up, right? So let me, without further ado, let me just switch off my camera, and I will start talking about the concepts or the topics. I hope you can see the screen. The first thing we talk about today, the first thing we talk about is McKinsey 7S framework. Now, I will tell you in a different way. If you are starting out in the business scenario, suppose you want to make movies. Now, who is my target audience? It has a great range of audience who I am addressing. You can be very good with making movies, don't have the business scenario. That will be very helpful to you. Gradually, as we progress, I will talk about the more complex aspects of the business, media entertainment industry. So even if you are a professional in the industry, you have something to know about. You have something to understand, maybe some nuances, some insights, some data analytics, whatever it is. The intricate details of the industry, how it works. So we will talk about that. And we will do a bit of criticism as well, because that is very important. When you are living in a democracy, criticism is very important. Okay. We will talk about the McKinsey 7S framework. Now, what does it mean? McKinsey 7S framework, it talks about 7S. But if you look at the 7S framework at its core or at its center, we have the shared values. That shared value is a very important thing because that is the driving force. If you have shared values, I already talked about it before. You can work in tandem with your customer, with your employee, or your entire organization as well as the marketplace, because your shared values you have at your core. Then you have 6 other aces. What does it mean? So how well your organization is positioned to achieve your goals. We talked about the smart you can see the screen. I hope you can see the screen. There was some issue. So as I was talking about 7S, you need to understand that there are two kinds. Broadly, there are two kinds. Just a second. Let me just increase the volume a bit. So when you look at the 7S framework, you have, let me just switch off the camera and then I will continue. When you look at the 7S framework, broadly what you have is the hard elements, and the soft elements. Now that is one perspective, but they are following this thing. If you now this is not a hard and fast rule, but generally the people skills or the HRM, these are in the business sector, these are called as soft skills when you are having this style, staff, and all these things. And when you look at the strategy, structure, systems, these are called the hard elements. So, if you have anything else to offer, you might paper or you might talk about it. So that is how we do higher studies or exploration, right? Now, if we talk about the hard elements, as I already mentioned, strategy is considered is considered as a hard element. Why? Because if your strategy is wrong, your entire business will fall apart. No matter what kind of people you have, what skill set you have in your human resource pool, you will still fall apart. If you don't have a structure, then it will fall apart. If you don't have your systems in place, you are giving input, you are not getting output, or you are getting output, you have a scattered input system, whatever it is. You don't have a proper system with which you are getting your streams in place, then your business will fall apart. So these are your hard elements. And when you talk about the soft elements, we talk about skills, style, and stuff. We talk about the skills, we talk about the style, and we talk about the stuff. But there is another thing which is also called as a soft skill, but not necessarily. So you can have a debate in that. That's why we are doing it in a different way. Now, structures means the hierarchy you can look at, the organizational charts you can look at, your reporting lines, your line manager, your different hierarchies. So if you talk about the structure, that is also you can refer to your org chart in that. Or hierarchy, you can look at, and you look at the line manager, etc. Staff manager, line manager, etc. There are different aspects. How the entire organization is structured. If you we will talk about Fayol and Fayol and Taylor's principles. So the chain of command, how it is flowing through your organization. You might not have a centralized managerial system or centralized decision making system, but still you have a command line in place. Who is giving the command, how the command is getting shared, and who is leading, who is following, how they are switching the roles. So all these things are part of your structure. Also, you're part of your strategy, because your strategy, when you have the vision, your strategy is pushing you towards that action plan, and then your structure is helping that. Now your system is the formal processes, like the production and operation managements. When we talk about the formal processes and the IT systems. If you have automation, if you have technology in place to serve your business, then you have your system in place. Now I will just draw the diagram and you will understand how it looks like. At its top, how you will draw this diagram. That is why I am telling you. There are, just a second, there are 6 elements. So you will look at 6 elements. This, this, and this. These are your hard elements. Uh, as I already discussed, what will be your hard elements? Let's keep structure here. This is your structure. This is your strategy, right? And this is your systems element, right? You have your 3 soft skills. Just draw these 3 soft skills. Soft elements. First, you have your skills, you have your staff. HRM will take care of that. You have your styles. Okay. Now the funny part is, or the fun part is, they are all connected together. So you need to connect all of it together, and they are working in harmony. So you can use dotted lines, you can use straight lines, but for the sake of understanding, I'll just talk about that. This is connected, 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 this is connected. And at your core, you have your shared values, as I already talked about. Shared values. So you have it at your core. You have this connected, you have this connected, and you have this connected, you have these connected. Everything is connected. This is connected, you have this connected. So it is like that. And you have this connected also. These two. So what is the idea behind the diagram, as I am telling again and again? Did you miss something? This. So what is the idea behind the diagram? That is why I am drawing this, because once you see that, sometimes you don't understand that I am missing this and this. Each and every element is connected and they are working in harmony. So that is the funda of this diagram. Broadly, you can look at these 3 triangles. One triangle is here connecting the 3 like circles. You have a triangle here connecting these things, and then you are having these lines of this triangle. That in that way you can look at it. But what you have to look at broadly, that each and every element is working in harmony. Your soft elements as well as your hard elements, they are working in harmony. Okay. Now, why I am telling this? Because this is very important. Sometimes what we do is, I have seen in many organizations while talking to the people, sometimes they don't do the proper analysis of the hard and soft elements in the first place. They don't understand what are the hard elements, why they are called the hard elements. They don't understand what are the soft elements, why they are called the soft elements. They don't understand the shared values. If you don't understand the shared values enough, then how will you convey it to your customers? How will you convey it to your employees? Right? As we already discussed, that your internal and external customers, your employees, your customers, if you don't understand it enough, then how can you tell it to people? So that's why when you talk about the culture, you have your this style is there, strategy is there, skills is there, shared values is at the core, systems is there, stuff is there, structure is there, but everything is connected. Okay. Now some people use, or for the sake of communication, when you are connecting these like circles together using the like the solid lines, and when you are connecting it in a different way, like the intricate details. Suppose you are forming that triangle, some people use the dotted line. The dotted line is supposed to mean that you might not have direct impact on the items or the elements. Suppose you are working on the strategy and you have not figured out, like when you are looking at the strategy, you know that it will have an effect on the systems, but you are not looking at the communication, or you are not looking at the workflow with, or the flow of items with which you can understand that your strategy is depending on your skills might be depending on your strategy. If you require a different strategy, you might have to a new certain new set of skills. You might have to know certain new set of skills, and you might have to gather more knowledge to understand the strategy in a better way, or to change or tweak your strategy in a better way. So either way, it is connected. Some people use it with dotted lines, but once you understand the entire concept, you have to understand that each and every element is working in harmony. So your strategy, your organization's plan for building and maintaining competitive advantage, you might focus on differentiation, you might focus on cost, you might focus on other things, value, innovation, whatever it is. Depending on, you might look at blue ocean strategy, you might look at red ocean strategy, whatever it is. We will talk about blue ocean strategy when your ocean is bloody red with competition, then you are having a red ocean strategy. প্রচুর competitor আছে, fight হচ্ছে, মারপিট হচ্ছে, then you have your red ocean strategy. আর যখন uncharted territories আছে, মানে you are doing a business which people haven't discovered till now, or there are very few competitors, very few, and that is not bloody. The color of the water is still blue. That is called a blue ocean strategy. But the way you look at it is, there is bloody competition in red ocean. In blue ocean, you are coming up with something fresh, coming up with something very new, and the competition is very less. So uncharted territories, maybe you are the first one starting something. So in those cases, you can apply blue ocean strategy. Structure, I already discussed the org chart. Systems, your daily activities, procedures, whatever you do, your processes. You can go for Deming's principle. You can go for reducing your waste to make it more lean, more leaner. If you apply your quality management principles, total quality management, in your processes, in your people, then you can come up with lean processes, lean management. Lean means you're cutting down the waste. There are 8 kinds of waste. If I talk about transportation is a waste, inventory is a waste, motion is a waste, waiting is a waste, overproduction. If you are producing more elements or more products or items than you actually require, that is a waste. Your over processing is a waste, because in terms of, as I just discussed, when you look at the structure, when you look at the systems, mostly structure is about the hierarchy. When you look at the systems, then you are looking at the activities and procedures, most importantly the processes. Then if you are doing over processing, then you are not utilizing your resources effectively. You have your defects, you have your unutilized talent. So coming back to that, your staff, when you're coming back to your staff, your human resource pool, your talent, if your talent is unutilized, that is a kind of waste. So you should look at your talent also, when you can actually harness your talent to come up with greater productivity, greater innovation. That is how you do business. And skills, obviously you need the skills and competencies for your employees and different levels of employees. So as I discussed, I think in the first or second lecture, that if somebody is at the higher place in the hierarchy, he is taking a lot of strategic decisions. The skill sets are required to take greater decisions. That's why a range of skill sets is required. Maybe not only scientific, a bit of artistic, maybe a lot of strategic, and how he or she can see the entire picture, because he or she is looking at the financial statements, the strategy, the leadership, how the entire structure is working, the organizational chart, who is giving command to whom, how the command is efficiently getting conveyed to different sets of people. So he or she is looking at the entire picture of the company, bird's eye view or dragonfly view, if I talk about. So you need to have a range of skill sets. For that, you need to understand the style also. What kind of style you are going to adopt for that leadership position. You can take, as we had already discussed, you can take like an autocratic style, you can take a democratic style, you can take a consensus style, you can take a laissez-faire style, where you are giving a lot of lenience to your employees, you're delegating a lot of stuff. We talk about situational leadership. So again and again we talk about all these things. you know you, you look at all these things. We talk about Kate Blanchard came up with a thing on situational leadership. So we know all these leadership styles, but what he did is a very important thing, because this is more dynamic, right? How much do you delegate? Delegate, you understand the art of delegation? Because if you want to do everything together, there will be a bottleneck, right? There will be a bottleneck. That is also called micromanagement. When you do micromanagement or bottleneck, then you are actually not using your resources in a proper way or efficient way. So that's why you have to understand situational leadership. Is it dynamic? If you are you delegating enough? If you are delegating, then are you looking at the skill sets of your resources? Are they competent enough or qualified enough to take those orders and to execute? Are they able to create that product, maintaining the vision of the company or strategy of the company? Then your skill sets is that skill set element is also coming into place. So how you delegate, whom you delegate, when you delegate, how you delegate, all these questions you have to ask when you're looking at the management. Now, since I will do separate sessions on management, I will just move on and I will talk about the GE-McKinsey matrix or grid. But you have got the idea, right? How the hard elements and soft elements, they are working together, and you have your shared values as your core, where you are looking at as again and again I am talking about all these names. Your shared values, from where do you get your shared values? Your vision is important. As a leader, you should have a vision. Your mission statement, when you have a mission statement that can motivate you as well as your employees, the entire culture can get motivated by your mission statement, right? So this is the center of the model. And these elements, they are actually balancing each other and reinforcing each other to perform, to have a better performance in the organization. That's why. So your goals, what are your goals? Your work ethic. So we are talking about the culture. Your mission statement is talking about the culture. Are you talking about the ethics? You're talking about what are your goals, your vision. Your vision is giving you a strategy, right? Again, so you are looking at the goals. Are you achieving your goals efficiently? Your mission statement is guiding the entire culture, your workforce, and how you're aligning your mission statement with your vision. Everything is aligned. Again, your vision, your mission statement, your action plan, your strategy, everything is aligned. How you are doing that. So if you look at this once whiteboard, at one place you are looking at all the elements of your business like a bird's eye view. And if these elements are balancing and reinforcing each other, then you are performing well, because efficiently you are using your resources. So with these elements, again you are coming back to resource utilization or allocation also. First you allocate the resources, then you understand the uh, utilization also. Because when you delegate, you are actually allocating your human resources. So that's why allocation is also important. That's a part of management. And the thing is that balancing and reinforcing, these are the two names you have to understand. These elements, hard and soft elements, what they are doing, these two elements are doing, they are balancing and reinforcing each other. ঠিক আছে? Okay, I think I will just move to the next one. This is a good one. Now I don't have to uh, change the whiteboard again. Rather, I just extend it and then I can write fresh. Yeah. So here I will mention the GE-McKinsey 9-grid matrix. Now I will talk about two aspects of it. If you are starting out, you might just look at some aspects of it, very basic. Then you are going deep into the grid or GE-McKinsey matrix. Then you will understand how you can partially harvest, partially invest, all these aspects. Just give me 1 sec. I have a sip of water. And then we start again. Okay, so your GE-McKinsey model in nutshell, you have two things. You have two things in your GE-McKinsey, two dimensions. What is it? GE, General Capital, Jack Welch, Susie Welch, big names in management. They have done a lot of work in management. So what are you looking at? Industry attractiveness. How attractive is your industry? Now mind this, this attractiveness is not equal to the looks or your beauty. It's not equal to your looks and beauty. This is your industry attractiveness. Understand this very well. When we are talking about business, we are talking about business. When we are talking about talent, we are looking at the looks and beauty. That's another aspect. When you're looking at industry attractiveness, this is not the same. Then you have the competitive strength of the business unit. If you look at the business unit separately, you look at the competitive strength of the business unit. Competitive strength, very important. You have 3 levels. Industry attractiveness you give here, the vertical axis. In the horizontal you give the competitive strength on the business unit. You give it here. Now you have your low part. This is the low part. This is the medium part. 3 levels. You have your high. Similarly, you also have low here, medium here, and high here. Now just let me create this. This will be easier for you to understand. In low, medium, and high, you create just 3 lines. Okay. Oh, this is creating a bit of technical problem. Now it's, I think, better. And this low, you're having this medium. You're having 3 lines for your low, medium. You're just dividing this grid into different. We are having a 9-grid matrix because each of these parts is called a grid. So you have 9 grids. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 grids. And how do you maintain it? 3 levels you have, 3 cross 3. This is called a 3 cross 3 or 9-grid matrix. Now for some you have 2 cross 2, as we have talked about ANSOF, we have talked about BCG. You have a 4-grid, 2, 2. So the moment you have a 2 cross 2, then you can understand you have 2 dimensions. It can be your market share, it can be your relative market share, it can be your growth rate. You have two dimensions. When you have here, you have your industry attractiveness, you have your low, medium, and high. So you have your three levels. That's why 3 cos 3. You have two dimensions, but you have three levels. So actually, let me tell you in a clarified manner. In these 2 cross 2 grids, this medium part we don't consider. So that is, to put it in a better way, the medium part is not considered 2 grids. So either you have or you have high. When you are looking at the medium into consideration, then you have different aspects. I talked about the partial elements. When you bring that medium thing in the picture, then you can have the partial elements. Whether you are going to invest partially, harvest partially, whatever it is, you can think about all these things in the medium element. So this is to make you understand in a better way. But first, let me tell you in the easiest way. When you have high competitive business unit, actually, let me tell you, you can do it in this way also, or you can just change the direction of high, medium, low, depending on the your this thing, depending on the. Let me just do it in this way only. Then this will be easier for you to understand. When you are putting that lower part, this is a mistake that happens a lot. But fundamentally, you can understand either way. But let's keep this. It will be easier to organize in a better way. Very similar thing. You have 3 levels. You are just changing the positions. Just a second. You are putting high to low here in your competitive strength of the business unit. And there is a funda behind this also, so that makes sense. You have high, medium, and low when you have your competitive business strength, and you have your industry attractiveness, which is low, medium, high. Now, when you have your competitive strength of the business unit as very high, but you have industry attractiveness very low, then what you do, you protect. This is where you protect. When you have it medium, you do the harvest. This is medium and this is low, industry attractiveness. Divest, what you do when you have both as low. When you have your competitive strength as low and your industry attractiveness also as low, then you divest. Now, this is one term I will use while I discuss different companies and their how they got restructuring of the company. When we talk about restructuring, how they transformed into a different company or they got restructured, then we will use those terms. But for the sake of understanding, you understand industry attractiveness is low, competitive strength of the business unit, that is low. Now, when you have competitive strength as low, your industry attractiveness is low, then you have different options you can take. Divest is the option you have to take. Now, you can go for, we will talk about merger acquisition and all these things. So, and when you have both as high, you invest. So you remember this thing, you invest here when you have, invest here. You have your industry attractiveness high, you have your competitive strength of the business unit high. That means with the marketplace you are in, je marketplace e amra kaj korchi, that marketplace is having a lot of attractiveness, that is high in attractiveness. The competitive strength with which we are actually working, যে বিজনেস ইউনিটটা নিয়ে আমরা কাজ করছি, আমাদের যে স্ট্রেংথ যেটা আছে, কম্পিটিশন করার জন্য যে আমাদের স্ট্রেংথ আছে, আমাদের রিসোর্সেস থাকতে পারে, আমাদের স্ট্র্যাটেজি থাকতে পারে, হোয়াট এভার ইট ইজ, উই আর গেইনিং আ কম্পিটিটিভ অ্যাডভান্টেজ অর কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ, দ্যাট ইজ হাই। when we have both as high, we invest. কেন আমার কি আছে, আমার কাছে রিসোর্সেস আছে প্রচুর, তাই না, which I can invest. our industry is attractive, so I can gather a lot of revenue, I can earn a lot of revenue. Gather মানে একটু লুটের দিকে চলে যাচ্ছে, but if we talk about earning, we can earn a lot of revenue, we can earn a lot of profit, so we can invest. Now we have the industry attractiveness as medium, হয়তো অতটা হাই নেই, বাট আমার মিডিয়াম রইলো, কিন্তু আমার যে কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ আছে সেটা আমার কিন্তু খুব বেশি আছে, তাও আমি ইনভেস্ট করছি। হয়তো ইনভেস্ট করতে করতে আমি ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভ করে দিলাম, এটাও হতে পারে। মানে অ্যাজ আ বিজনেস মেবি কেউ ইনভেস্ট করছে না, তার জন্য অ্যাট্রাক্টিভ নেই ইন্ডাস্ট্রিটা অতটা, বাট আমার কাছে কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ আছে, সো আই অ্যাম ইনভেস্টিং ইন দ্যাট সিনারিও and I am making the industry, or maybe few other players with me, they are making the industry more attractive. So that is one thing. আবার যখন আমার কাছে কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথটা মিডিয়াম থাকছে বাট ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস খুব হাই আছে, তখনও আমি ইনভেস্ট করছি। এবার এটার ফান্ডাটা একটু বলি, একদম একটু ফান্ডাটা বলি। আমার কাছে এত রিসোর্সেস আছে যেটাকে আমি ইউজ করলে আমি দারুণ কিছু ইনকাম করতে পারি, দারুণ কিছু জিনিস বানাতে পারি। এবার আমার ইন্ডাস্ট্রি প্রচন্ড অ্যাট্রাক্টিভ রয়েছে, ঠিক আছে, আমার কাছে মিডিয়াম রেঞ্জ মানে মিডিয়ামও থাকতে পারে। যদি আমার কাছে খুব লো কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ থাকে, যদি আমার খুব লো ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস থাকে, কিন্তু আমার কাছে জিনিসপত্র প্রচুর আছে, তাহলে আমি কি করছি, আমি একটু প্রোটেক্ট করছি। আমার ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস অতটা নেই, আমি প্রোটেক্ট করছি। এবার আমার কাছে একটু দেখলাম মিডিয়াম অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস এলো ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে, আমার কাছে জিনিস কিন্তু প্রচুর আছে, আমি ইনভেস্ট করলাম। এবার দেখছি আমার ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস হাই হয়ে গেছে, তখনও আমার কাছে অনেক কিছু আছে, তখনও আমি ইনভেস্ট করছি। আরেকটা সিচুয়েশন কখন হচ্ছে, ইন্ডাস্ট্রি প্রচুর অ্যাট্রাক্টিভ, আমার কাছে হয়তো মিডিয়াম অ্যামাউন্ট অফ কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ আছে, মানে হয়তো আমার অ্যামাউন্ট অফ রিসোর্সেস বলি, স্ট্র্যাটেজি বলি, হোয়াট এভার ইট ইজ আই হ্যাভ অ্যাজ মাই রিসোর্স, আমার কাছে মিডিয়াম আছে, কিন্তু আমার ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস কিন্তু আমার দারুণ আছে। তো সেটা নিয়ে আমি ঝাঁপিয়ে বললাম বিজনেসে, আমি ইনভেস্ট করে দিলাম। তারপর দেখবো আমি করতে করতে রিটেইন আর্নিংস, যেটা আমি বলেছিলাম না, ব্যালেন্স শিটে বলেছিলাম, ইনকাম স্টেটমেন্টে বলছিলাম যে আমার কাছে প্রফিট হচ্ছে, আমি রিইনভেস্ট করছি। করতে করতে দেখতে পেলাম যে আমার যে রিসোর্সেস গুলো গ্র্যাজুয়ালি স্ট্রং হয়ে গেল, বাট ইনিশিয়ালি আই এম টেকিং দ্যাট স্টেপ, আমি ইনভেস্ট করলাম কেন, আমার ইন্ডাস্ট্রি খুব অ্যাট্রাক্টিভ। Gradually I will gather more resources, or I will gather more resources, I will earn more revenue, and I will reinvest. But first the thing is industry attractiveness medium আছে, আমি ইনভেস্ট করে দিলাম, কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ। তাহলে আরেকটা কি বাকি রইল, অ্যাট্রাকটিভ মানে যদি ইন্ডাস্ট্রি যেটাই আমি কাজ করছি, the industry which I am wanting to penetrate, সেটা করতে গেলে কি হবে, সেটা আমার মিডিয়াম আছে অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস। এবার আমার কাছে যে কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ আছে সেটাও মিডিয়াম আছে, দুটো যে মিডিয়াম হয়ে গেল, তখন আমি কি করব, আবার প্রোটেক্ট করব। বোঝা গেল? আচ্ছা, এবার আমার কাছে কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ লো আছে, ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস আমার যদি মিডিয়াম থাকে, আমি কি করছি, হারভেস্ট করছি। আর যদি ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস খুব হাই থাকে, আমি প্রোটেক্ট করছি। পুরো ডাইনামিক্সটাই চেঞ্জ হয়ে গেল না? মানে এখানে আমার কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ কতটা ম্যাটার করছে। যদি আমার কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ খুব হাই থাকে, আই ক্যান টেক ডিফারেন্ট ডিসিশনস ইন মাই লাইফ। ইন্ডাস্ট্রি আমার লো থাকলে আমি প্রোটেক্ট করছি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস, মিডিয়াম থাকলে আমি ইনভেস্ট করছি, হাই থাকলেও আমি ইনভেস্ট করছি। যদি আমার কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ থাকে মিডিয়াম, আমার যখন ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেসটা লো থাকছে, আমি হারভেস্ট করছি। আমি ক্রপটাকে যেরকম হারভেস্ট করে, আমার ফসল যেমন চাষ হয় সেরকম ভাবে হারভেস্ট করছি, ঠিক আছে। এবার যদি আমার মিডিয়ামে আমি পৌঁছে গেলাম অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস, তাহলে আমি প্রোটেক্ট করছি। আবার যখন আমি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস খুব হাই, আমি ইনভেস্ট করছি, যেটা আমি বললাম। এবার আমার কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ খুব লো আছে, আমি তখন কি খেলবো বা কি স্ট্র্যাটেজি নেব। আমার যদি দেখছি ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেসও আমার লো, তখন আমি ডাইভেস্ট করে দিলাম। আবার যদি আমার কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ লো আছে, কিন্তু ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস হয়তো মিডিয়াম আছে, আমি তখন হারভেস্ট করলাম। ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেস মিডিয়াম আছে, আমি হারভেস্ট করছি, মানে আমার ফসল চাষ হচ্ছে, আমি সেখান থেকে করলাম, যেটা পেলাম হয়তো সেটা করতে করতে আমি আমার স্ট্র্যাটেজি চেঞ্জ করে ফেললাম, তাই না? হারভেস্ট করতে করতে হয়তো maybe it might be the scenario that during harvesting I'm gathering more resources, maybe in terms of financial capital, maybe in terms of my other resources, I'm investing in something, I'm buying something, whatever it is. So my competitive strength is gradually increasing, and then I will take a different decision based on the industry attractiveness. So প্রচন্ড একটা dynamic grid, you have to understand. আর যদি আমার ইন্ডাস্ট্রি অ্যাট্রাক্টিভনেসটা হাই থাকে বাট মাই কম্পিটিটিভ স্ট্রেংথ ইজ ভেরি লো, দেন আই প্রোটেক্ট অলসো। নাও এটারই একটা ভ্যারিয়েশন আমি বলবো যেটা থাকে, এটা একদম ব্রডলি আমি বললাম। আরেকটা থাকে হচ্ছে যেখানে আমাদের এইটাকেই জাস্ট সেকেন্ড, না এটা একটু স্লো হয়ে গেছে। কোথায় আমি ইনভেস্ট করব, কখন আমি হারভেস্ট করব, কখন আমি ডাইভেস্ট করব, সেই যে ডিসিশন মেকিংটা আমি নেব, লুকিং এট দিস টু অ্যাসপেক্টস, আই ক্যান টেক বেটার ডিসিশনস ডিপেন্ডিং অন মাই লাইক ইন্টেন্সিটি অফ ডাইমেনশনস, হাই, মিডিয়াম অর লো। আরেকটু বলি যে অনেকে এটা কিভাবে বলে, এই যে আমি প্রোটেক্টটা বললাম না, এই প্রোটেক্টটাকে অনেকে বলা হয় সিলেক্টিভিটি আর্নিংস। আবার ইনভেস্ট যখন আমি করছি, ইনভেস্ট মানে হচ্ছে গ্রো, বিকজ ইউ আর গ্রোয়িং, ইউ আর ইনভেস্টিং, এই ইনভেস্টটাকে অনেকে গ্রো বলে। Yeah, I think it got interrupted. I will just I was mentioning the protect part. Mostly I was mentioning the investment part. So this is one lesson you should learn from the Indian context. There are few organizations, or the biggest ones, some of the biggest ones, in terms of media and entertainment industry. They want to destroy your resources, and this is something you should take very seriously, because they take the pride or arrogance to call themselves as disruptors, and they don't understand English much. So the problem is they will disturb you, they will destroy your resources, they're just like they destroyed Nalanda, just like they destroyed other great universities of India. It doesn't matter to them. They take the joy in destroying, or uh, you know irritating you. That is their nature. But what you should do is you should really take care of your resources, your time, your energy, your everything. Like, if you have something to offer to the industry, something, if you have something to offer to the country, to the nation, to the fraternity worldwide, like the filmmaking literature, if you want to do something about that, if you want to contribute to the other aspects of it, then you should really respect your resources. Because in India, uh, it okay off করেছে just in India, what happens is, না না ঠিক আছে চলছে. In India, what happens is, they are not concerned about all these things, right? So if you don't take care of it, people will miss out a lot. Some Why I am mentioning this again and again, Hello. Yeah. What I was mentioning is, I was mentioning, just let me come back to this thing, and I will end this part one here because it's already 1 hour. And in the next one, in the part two, which will start from 8:35, we will talk about the media and entertainment companies, and in Hollywood, golden age of Hollywood, contemporary Hollywood, how they have worked on it. We will talk about all these things. But before that, you had to understand this, the basic concepts. So I will just briefly mention this and I will finish it off. I hope you can see the screen again. Is it visible? Visible. Acha. As I was mentioning, the hello. As I was mentioning, কোথায় গেল? আসছে না? আচ্ছা 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 ওইটা হয়েছে না। Okay, as I was mentioning যে আমাদের what happens in India is ইন্ডাস্ট্রিটা অনেক দিন ধরে আফটার, আমি একটু বাংলাতেই বলি তাহলে অনেকের বাংলাতে বুঝতে সুবিধা হবে, তারাই বা বাদ যায় কেন। এই যে আমাদের অনেক দিন ধরে স্বাধীনতার পর থেকে বিশেষ করে and তারপর ছিল দাদাকে যখন সিনেমা বানিয়েছে, দ্যাট ওয়াজ এ গ্রেট ওয়ান, মানে প্যাশন এনথুজিয়াজম নিয়ে সিনেমা করা হয়েছিল। তারপরে কিছু লোকের হাতে একটা কিছু গোষ্ঠীর হাতে এটা চলে যায়। ফলে কি হয়, তাদের যেভাবে তাদের নেচার বা যেভাবে তারা তৈরি হয়েছে, তাদের এটা তৈরি হয়েছে তারা তাদের কারণই হচ্ছে তারা চেয়েছে যাতে এই মানে রিসোর্সেস গুলোকে নষ্ট করে আর কি। তো ফলে কি হবে, ইফ ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু মেক আ নেম ইন ইউর এন্টারটেনমেন্ট ইন্ডাস্ট্রি ইন ইন্ডিয়া, দেন ইউ হ্যাভ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড ইউর কম্পিটিটরস রিয়েলি ওয়েল। তারা কি করে, তারা আরে কোথায় গেল রে, জাস্ট এ সেকেন্ড, তারা বন্ধুর বেশে আসে বলে ইউ ডোন্ট আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড। আচ্ছা, আমার মনে হচ্ছে এটাকে আমার সেকেন্ডটাতে করলেই বেটার হবে। ভালো হয়েছে না, কনস্ট্রাকটিভ কিছু মানে কথা বললেই আর কি, পড়াশোনার কথা বা এই মানে ব্যাপারটা যেটা দাঁড়াচ্ছে সেটা হচ্ছে এই সিনেমার সাথে শিক্ষা দীক্ষার ব্যাপারটা আসলেই কি একটা গোষ্ঠী আর কি সেটাকে সহ্য করতে পারছে না, তাই না? সেটাই দাঁড়ালো ব্যাপারটা। যতক্ষণ লাডেলাপ্পা নাচ গান থাকছে ততক্ষণ ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু যখনই সিনেমার সাথে এডুকেশনের ব্যাপারটা চলে আসছে, আর সরস্বতী ঠাকুরকেই বাজে চোখে দেখে, তো সেটা আর কি হবে। এনিওয়েজ, লেটস নট অ্যাবাউট দ্যাট, বাট হোয়াট ইউ হ্যাভ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড ইজ হাউ উই ক্যান রেসপেক্ট এডুকেশন ফিল্ড, সায়েন্স, কিছুতেই কিছু না কিছু শেখার আছে। যখন আমরা নইটল একটা ইগো নিয়ে থাকতে থাকি, তখন আমরা শেখার ব্যাপারটা আমরা ওল্ড হয়ে যাই, বোরিং হয়ে যাই। শেখাটা যদি শেষ হয় তাহলে তো আমরা ওল্ড হয়ে যাব না, বোরিং হয়ে যাব। শেখাটা একটা কন্টিনিউয়াস লার্নিং প্রসেসের মধ্যে থাকাটা খুব দরকার। কন্টিনিউয়াস লার্নিং প্রসেস, এটাকে অনেকে ইনডক্ট্রিনেশন ভেবে হয়তো ভুল করে ফেলবে, বিকজ এইভাবে কিছু আমি যে করছি এইগুলো, তার কারণ একটা পার্টিকুলার গোষ্ঠী বা একটা ধরনের সেক্ট আছে যারা এগুলো নিয়ে সারাক্ষণ থাকে। ওই জন্য ইউ হ্যাভ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড দেম অলসো। ঠিক আছে? সো দ্যাটস ওয়াই আমাদের